Hello everybody, welcome to another video. Just like the previous 5 Mario and Luigi videos, I ran a poll to figure out which game to play, but since there's only one game I haven't played, the results should be obvious. Today, I'll be doing a minimum kill run of Paper Mario Sticker Star, you know what? No! Screw this! Screw you guys! And screw Nintendo! I am not playing this game!
Mario! Luigi? Oh, Luigi! Oh, no. Huh? Yeah. Oh, mamma mia! Luigi!
That is so much better. Before we can actually get into the game, we of course have to go over the rules for the challenge. Number 1. No using easy mode. It's only accessible after dying several times to the same fight, but I can't use it at all. Number 2. If an enemy dies, but shows up in a future game or later in the same game, it does not actually count as a kill. Number 3. I can only fight required enemies, so I don't have the ability to grind experience points. Number 4. No glitches. Number 5. No items or gear that increase experience drops. With the rules out of the way, let's get into Mario and Luigi Brothership. After waking up from a quick nap, Mario decides to head out and do the one thing he's good at: murdering random creatures. This fight acts as a quick tutorial on how fighting works, so I might as well talk about it. Just like all 5 prior Mario and Luigi games, you can do extra damage with your attacks by timing your button presses, and you can avoid enemy attacks by doing the same thing, and potentially even damage them with your own attacks, ending the fight a bit quicker. There's also an option to run from fights, but in required fights like this, it's grayed out and not possible to use. Since it's a tutorial fight, it's basically impossible to lose unless you purposely try to fail it, so we can carry on with 2 kills on our counter. Mario rapidly develops schizophrenia, hallucinates of Luigi, and promptly jumps off a cliff. Thankfully, the real Luigi saves him, and we can get introduced to our main island, Ship-Shape Island. It's a ship, and we use it to sail to other islands. On this island are also Connie and Snoutlet. The world got torn apart, and it's our job to find islands and connect them all back to Shipshape Island, with Snoutlet as our guide. Anyways, quick Mario and Luigi death, and we go to the first and currently only accessible island, Rumbla Island. Since it's still the start of the game, I'll try to speed through this since it's not too interesting. Upon landing, the bros get ambushed by 2 guard arms, and it's another tutorial, this time on how fighting as a duo works. Mario uses the A button, Luigi B, just like always, but unlike the old games, all of their attacks in this game are duo attacks, requiring a mix of both the A and B buttons to do properly. It doesn't really mean that much, it just makes the game a little more fun to play. After that, the next fight is an introduction to advantages and disadvantages. If you attack an enemy before entering a fight, you start the fight with a slight advantage, and the enemies take a little damage. If you get hit before a fight though, you start the fight in a disadvantageous state, and the enemies get the first attack. I'll never get to use the advantage state, since all mandatory fights don't allow this. On the other hand, I will usually start a lot of fights in the disadvantage state, since when I'm not entering a mandatory fight, I'm running from enemies, which means I often get hit while running away, and have to dodge more attacks before running away. After quickly killing the 3 Seedles, Mario and Luigi get their first level up, and this is the main reason why this challenge is so hard. Since I'm unable to fight enemies, I can't level up, so I don't get the constant stat increases that come with leveling up. Like Mario and Luigi Paper Jam, there isn't a level up bonus, where you can pick an extra stat to increase, so I will have to rely very heavily on beans and gear to help narrow the gap. After this, Mario and Luigi find a woman getting attacked by 3 guard arms, so that's a few more kills for the run, and then they decide to kidnap her. Moving along, the bros solve a few puzzles, Luigi gets sent to the stratosphere, and they get ambushed by 4 more guard arms. After some serious property damage, the bros get to the first lighthouse and use it to fly back to Shipshape Island, and connect Rumbla Island to it. Upon getting back to Shipshape, a person trapped in a purple cask washes on shore, and gives the bros a map to navigate the oceans. This is where a lot of the routing for this challenge comes from, figuring out what the optimal order of islands is to go to. Currently there are 2 choices for islands, Twisty Island and Rainforest Island. Which island we choose first also changes which shop opens up on Shipshape Island later, which could be a super important thing. I would say if I ever actually used that shop. Turns out basically everything there requires side quests to be done to have the gear be purchasable. To get the gear, you have to get certain materials, and you can only get most materials in the game from fighting enemies. So all the gear is either unobtainable or obtainable super late into the game when way better gear is available. So which of the 2 islands you go to first does not actually matter for this run. I decided to go to Twisty Island first. On this island, all I have to do is go through the woods to get some hair wax and bring it back to the start. All the enemies on the way are optional, so I can easily just kidnap a woman, rob her store for hair wax, do a quick jig, and use the lighthouse to head back to Shipshape Island. Once there, I get hammers and free the person in the purple cask. Before heading to Rainforest Island, there's one more important thing to talk about. After finishing an island and reconnecting it, you get the opportunity to go back to it whenever you'd like to collect more gear and money. Since reconnecting an island to Shipshape Island also creates more pathways and more loot to collect, you can always assume I'm going back and collecting all of it, including the Connectar, which will be important much later. Anyways, Rainforest Island is also devoid of any required enemy encounters, so I can just gather gear, save some toads, and head back to Shipshape Island. After we get back, a resident tells Mario and Luigi that they need help at Rumbla Island, and that they're under attack. Knowing what must be done, they head back to Rainforest Island to gather more loot. After grabbing a bunch of super important stuff, I head back to Rumbla Island, and immediately get ambushed by 2 more guard arms. This is a great time to quickly explain the difference between hammer and jump attacks. Hammer attacks only hit grounded enemies, and jumps can hit anything, but if that enemy has spikes, attacking it with a jump will actually hurt Mario and Luigi, so the only option would be to use a hammer. Using this knowledge, it's just as simple as alternating between which attack based on the enemy type. After killing the 2 guard arms, the bros level up again, getting them to level 3. After talking to the woman we kidnapped, it turns out that the guard arms are being told to destroy the islanders' art by some mysterious leader. For his heinous crimes, Mario and Luigi decide to do the one thing they can. Kick his ass! After quickly navigating the island, the bros get to their boss, Grumbla, and the first boss fight ensues. Despite being the first boss, only 2 hours into the game, he hits pretty hard. With every hit, he'll deal around 5 damage, which doesn't sound like too much until you realize I only have 20 health for each bro. Getting comboed by a single attack could mean death. Thankfully, his attacks are super easy to dodge. Grumbla has 2 distinct attack modes, passive and aggressive. In his passive state, he only has 2 attacks. He can slam the ground to make shockwaves, which can be dodged with some easy jump timings. His second attack is a long slide. It's super easy to jump over it, but if I time it well, I can also damage him during it. If I mistime it, I'll just end up hitting the rocks and bounce off over him. After dealing a bit of damage to him, he'll swap to his aggressive mode. During this, his defense skyrockets, and I can only deal half the damage I normally could. He also gets 2 new attacks to use. His first one is a punch combo. It's not hard to dodge, but the windup on the first punch always messes me up. After the punches, he'll do a quick lunge, letting me get some chip damage in. His second attack is much more important. He throws a bunch of rocks into the air, which Mario and Luigi can then hit back for small damage. The important part is what happens after, though. A rock falls into the fountain in the background, giving Luigi an incredible idea. Whenever this happens, I can use Luigi's turn to use his Luigi logic, which offers a quick minigame. If I lose Luigi's turn, but if I win, the boss is stunned for a full turn and takes increased damage while it's stunned. It's a decent risk, but the reward is always worth it. Emphasis on risk. Since Grumbla is still super early into the game, it's not too hard and I beat him up. After beating Grumbla, the bros level up another 3 times, putting them at level 6 already. Since Grumbla was destroying people's art, we do have to find a good punishment for all this. Like sending him to space! He somehow survives this, by the way. After this, a new ocean current opens up, allowing access to Floral Island. But before that, 2 important things happen. Some random person gives Mario and Luigi a red and green shell, the first bros attack in the game. They work the same way they did back in Dream Team and Paper Jam. Each bro gets a unique set of bros attacks to use, each using a different amount of bros points to attempt. After a long series of button presses, insane damage can be done to enemies, but messing up stops the attack early. The other thing that happens is that Ark asks the bros to go to Rainforest Island and find his spyglass for him. This is the first out of many side quests. I'll try not to talk about them too often since they happen super frequently, but you can assume I'm always doing them. Unless a side quest is impossible or something interesting happens in it, I will not be bringing it up. Anyway, side questing hasn't started well for us. To retrieve Ark's spyglass, I have to beat up some Invisilizards guarding it, which obviously isn't happening. Despite this, there are 3 other side quests which are all doable. With that aside, Floral Island is next. And, just like Rainforest and Twisty Island, it's super easy to just ignore all the enemies, grab the loot, and head straight to the lighthouse, connecting it back to Shipshape Island. Immediately after returning, Mario and Luigi have to head straight back to Floral Island to get Connie, and then blast off to the first of 4 Great Lighthouses. To return Concordia to its former glory, all 4 of these must be restored before Shipshape Island can head back to the center of the world. The front door is locked, so as 2 normal people do, they break in through the basement. Every Great Lighthouse acts as a giant dungeon of sorts. Thankfully, all of the enemies are out of the way of the main objective, so I can solve some puzzles, unlock the gate, and move to the final area. Upon getting here, Mario and Luigi spot 3 people taking care of their precious pet plant, and decide to ruin their fun and kill their pet, starting the next boss fight, Goblik. Goblik is the first decently challenging part of this run. Since we're only level 6 and Goblik is level 12, he can kill either bro in just 2 hits, and some of his attacks can forcefully cause a bro to get hit a second time because they tripped. One of his attacks is where he dunks a vine into the ground and slowly moves it towards the bros. It can be tricky to dodge if you're not careful, nearly kills in a single hit, and can trip a bro, forcing another hit to hit them. He has another attack where he uses his vine like a lasso, and while it's not as bad damage-wise, it causes the dizzy status effect, which is like a worse version of tripping. It either takes multiple turns to wear off, which is time I don't have, or I have to use an item to cure it, which means a waste of a turn. Goblik does have 2 easier attacks though. He can either spit out enemies and coins, which deals very little damage and is easy to dodge, or he can swipe the ground to try and trip the bros. That second attack also causes the Luigi logic for this fight to be accessible. Every time Goblik does that, some rocks get launched into a fan turning it on, and after timing a throw, the boss is stunned for heavy damage. This is where bros attacks are the most useful. They do way more damage, and with the increased damage modifier, they can shred through bosses' health if done well. After beating up Goblik for a while, he gets enraged, so his attacks go a bit quicker, and he has one new one. He'll rush up to a bro and wait for a bit, before attempting to eat one. If he succeeds, he deals massive damage, and also heals back a bit of his health. The timing for this attack looks hard, but it's surprisingly lenient. After beating up the houseplant, it doesn't actually die. Much later in the game, there's a side quest to rematch a harder version of this boss, so this fight only adds to the fight counter. Also, beating Goblik gives Mario and Luigi 3 more level ups and their first rank up. With each rank up, more rank up bonuses become available, but right now there are only 5. There's Stash Up, which only increases the likelihood of getting lucky hits, so that's not very useful. There's also an extra gear slot, but with how little I use the accessories, I don't think it's worth it. There's also HP and Speed Plus, which every time you level up, speed and health are increased by a little extra. HP Plus would be really useful, Speed Plus wouldn't really help all that much. By the end of the game, having some extra speed will not make us faster than the other enemies with how underleveled we'll be. The final rank up bonus is without a doubt the best one available. Quick leveling. Every fight will have an extra 20% experience output, making the huge level gap between the bros and enemies shrink a little bit more. Now, the rules did say no items or gear that increase experience, but this isn't gear, so it doesn't count. Quickly heading to the top of the Great Lighthouse, Connie relights it, and the bros are on their way to the colorful sea. There are 2 things that happen upon getting here. A brand new impossible side quest opens up, this one being Investigate the Abductions. There are people getting abducted by birds on Rumbla Island, but stopping that would require fighting some birds. So... Oh hey, there's a second thing, the Great Lighthouse. Unfortunately, there's a giant wall blocking the way in. Wonder who could have done that. Whatever, it probably doesn't matter. Might as well use this as an excuse to explore the rest of this sea anyways. Setting sail, Mario and Luigi find and head to Desolate Island, and are greeted by a welcoming sight. A group of 4 kids show up, and instead of helping save the person who just got abducted, they challenge Mario and Luigi to a game of hide and seek. Since the bros had the world to save, they of course agreed to play. After finding all 4 of them, they travel to the top of the island and find the people who owned the houseplant, along with their boss. Turns out beating up their plant wasn't too bad since they're kidnapping people. That means I'm morally in the right? Zokket orders 10 to attack the bros, leading to the next boss fight. 10 only has a few attacks, all of them being super easy to dodge. His first attack is to summon a ball and use it to ram the bros, but 3 hammer swings and it's over. His second move is to summon 2 Snapters. These 2 Snapters have 2 attacks that require hurting them to avoid getting hit, so I can't dodge them too often. His third move is to command the Snapters to drop some rocks, spiky enemies, and a log, but it's also super easy to dodge. His final attack is shooting some bullets into mirrors, but the final mirror always telegraphs where the bullets are gonna go, so it's just a matter of rhythmically swinging. The only interesting part of this fight really is the Snapters, since I want to avoid fighting them at all costs. Thankfully, I can just spam red and green shells, since red shell only hits a single enemy, and green shell can't hit flying enemies. After beating up 10, the two Snapters explode for unknown reasons. Since I didn't actually hurt them, I'm only going to count them as fights and not kills. After that pathetic fight, Mario and Luigi level up twice, now both at level 11, and 10 runs away, dropping one of the most useful pieces of gear imaginable. This is a power tap, and acts kind of like the badge or card replacement for this game. In this game, it works super simply. You have a bunch of plugs you can use, but a limited number of outlets, so currently only 2 plugs can be used. The plugs can do a wide variety of things, but once they're used a certain amount of times, they run out of charge, and the only way to recharge them is to wait a bunch of turns. 10 swoops down and rematches Mario and Luigi to try and get back to his battle plugs. This fight is just a tutorial on how battle plugs work, so it's not important to actually go over. It's disappointing how since 10 goes down in 2 turns, he summons Snapters, adding another 3 fights for this tutorial. The worst part is that the second fight doesn't even give any experience. After quickly racking on 6 fights, 10 runs off again, and Mario and Luigi reconnect the lighthouse to Shipshape Island. Upon arrival, the bros find Starlo on the beach, and she tells them that they need to go get Peach off of Merry-Go Island. At the same time, they found a lead on where Zokket's base could be, as the Snapters had been flying in the same direction. Of course, with Princess Peach in danger, the bros decide to prioritize their grudge and head straight to Zokket. Unfortunately, it was rather uneventful. They just ran off, so I guess they can go find Peach now. Merry-Go Island, unlike its name, is just a giant maze. Since nothing important is actually happening, watch these sweet jukes. Anyways, at the end of the maze, there's a guy getting attacked by 3 Snapters, so unfortunately we have to save him, and kill all 3 of the Snapters. A giant horde of Snapters shows up, so it's looking like this will be a bunch of kills, but thankfully a bomb sends them flying away. We can thank Techniki for saving us from adding 7 more kills to our tally. A little further down the island, the bros find Peach perfectly safe, and head back to Shipshape Island, where everyone decides to try and make a plan to find Zokket's base. They decide to follow the Snapters, again, but this time we need bait apparently. There are 2 choices here. Send in Luigi, so Luigi can explore inside the building, but Mario will have to go in alone to save him. Or send Peach, so it's easier to actually get inside. Of course, I decided to send in Peach. I'm not making the game even harder just for some princess. Following the Snapters, they find that they're all headed to Lotta Coins Island. But before heading there, guess what time it is? A. New Bros Attack time. B. Impossible Side Quest time. C. A horrible grave mistake happening. Or D. All of the above. If you answered D, you got it right! Techniki gives Mario and Luigi 2 new Bros attacks, being Hatch Me If You Can and Zapperator. The side quest Little Lost Toad requires fighting Snapters to save, and stay tuned for C. What, were you expecting a prize? Launching to Lotta Coins Island, it starts smoothly. Collect some loot on the outside, head in the main building, and start progressing the story. To get to the 2nd floor, normally you'd head to the right and get half of a password, and get the other half in the lobby, so that's what I did. I headed right, killed 2 Spike Zock troopers, and realized I was a dumbass. The code for the door isn't randomized, so every time you play the game, it's the same. That means fighting those 2 Zock troopers was optional, and I could have just memorized the code. To save you your time, I'll just... There we go, back with 2 less kills. After putting in the password, which is 5347 just in case you wanted to know, Mario and Luigi can finally head upstairs. Up there, they find a prison cell locked with another password. Thankfully, even if you don't memorize this password, your run isn't ruined. There are no enemies required to get any part of this code. After unlocking a cage, the guards find out and After unlocking the cage, the guards... but the bros can't fit. After quickly learning the bros ball move, they roll through the tubes, attempt to skip killing the guards, get told no by the game, and go back to quickly kill the 3 Spike Zoc troopers and unlock the door. I then immediately turn around, go through more tubes, and get to the top of the building. Up there, we ran back into Zokket's troops. They're taking care of their pet bird, and we can't let that stand. For a Mega Snapter, I decided to go for a more defensive Battle Plug build, using Auto Mushroom as well as Boomerang items. That way I kept all the items I used. Mega Snapter, just like Goblik, hits really hard and can kill a bro in a single attack if I don't dodge it properly. His first attack is flying up and snatching one of the bros, before pelting the other bro with a barrage of attacks. It can throw out the bro, and you can accidentally damage yourself there. It can also throw a rock, which is easy to jump over, mushrooms which can be jumped into to heal, and springs, which I often confuse for rocks for some reason. I actually almost lost the fight super early because of this. Mega Snapter can also lunge its head as an attack, but that's pretty easy to dodge with a hammer swing. If it shakes its head before lunging, that means it'll attack the bro it's not looking at, and that's the only slightly tricky part with that attack. It also has a tornado attack, and depending on the height, the faster or slower it goes. This attack can also cause Mario and Luigi to trip, so it's important to dodge this one. After dodging the tornadoes, it'll spin some pipes in the background, giving access to the Luigi logic. It's simple, just time pressing the button to line the pipes up and open the valve at the end. This gives the chance to absolutely wail on the boss like always, and I'd recommend using Hatch Me if you can and Green Shell for damage here. After a turn on wailing on the boss actually stays in a weakened state where it has less attacks and can't fly. This means Green Shell is still an option for attacking. Its only attack in this state is to rhythmically rock its head back and forth, but if you know the rhythm, it's easy. After beating it up for a while, the bros kill it, and level up twice to level 13. Reconnect the lighthouse, head back to Shipshape Island, and prepare for the next objective. Once again, impossible side quest time! This one is It's Dory. Dory needs medicine to get well, but to get that medicine, we need to save a scalper from some snapters, so that's a no. Mario and Luigi finally have a way to get to the Great Lighthouse though. They're gonna make an RPG and shoot it at the lighthouse. To make the RPG, they need to get some oil from All Sand Island, so the bros head there next. Not too far into the island, this guy warns Mario and Luigi about these shark bones, and how dangerous they are. But how bad could they really be? Jesus Christ! After not going near the shark bones, the bros get some oil, and head back to Shipshape Island. The next impossible side quest rears its ugly head. Stepped into a slump. This one is a gear crafting quest, so it's obviously impossible. Mario and Luigi build the RPG, and upon returning to the Great Lighthouse, strap 4 kids to the side of it and execute them, clearing the entrance. After sneaking through the Great Lighthouse, the bros find Zokket and her henchmen, and their pet barrel. Clearly they haven't learned their lesson, so it's pet beating time. For Sharp Cask, I stuck with the same Auto Mushroom and Boomerang item battle plugs. Now, for Sharp Cask himself, he's a lot more sturdy and defensive than prior bosses. He also hits like a truck. Sharp Cask also has reinforcements this time, in the form of X. X will occasionally come onto the battlefield, buffing Sharp Cask's power and defense, making him even more of a menace. Sharp Cask's attacks are also decently varied. Its first attack is hurling barrels at the bros. If it holds the barrel above its head, it bounces, and if not, it rolls. Also, isn't this homicide? After launching enough barrels, it'll run at the bros, but it's easy to jump on it and deal a bit of damage. Its hardest to counterattack is the spin me right round. It'll roll in a circle, and it is easy to dodge, but I always get greedy and try to jump on it to do extra damage, which is hard to time properly, and doesn't even do that much damage. I particularly struggle when it rolls towards Luigi first. I had an extremely close encounter after getting really greedy with this attack, being left at 5 health on Luigi. It also has the box slamma, where it slowly charges up to slam boxes on a bro. It is super easy to counter though, just hit Sharpcast while it's leaning back. After a bit of fighting, Sharpcast will hide in its shell, increasing its defense to an absurd amount, only taking single-digit damage and healing every turn. While this is happening though, the chance for Luigi logic occurs. Simply move Sharpcast on a conveyor and stack a bunch of boxes on it, avoiding bombs, until it crushes Sharpcast and makes it vulnerable again. Once again, the best moves here are Catch Me If You Can and Green Shell. After getting rid of most of its health, it gets enraged and adds one new move to its arsenal, its Kamikaze attack. It hides in its shell and blows itself up with a bomb, hurling itself towards a bro. It can be hit back with a hammer though, and the timing isn't as bad as it seems. After beating it up a bunch, it goes down and doesn't die. Just like Goblik, it has a rematch much later in the game, so it only counts towards the fight tally. Just like Goblik, Mario and Luigi level up 3 times, getting to level 16 this time, and also rank up. This one has the same choices as last time, as well as 2 new ones, Power Up and Defense Up. These ones increase the amount of power and defense Mario and Luigi get every time they level up, which means it's more beneficial to get these bonuses earlier than later. Since I consistently keep getting really close to dying at each boss fight, either because of being greedy or genuine mistakes, I decided to go for the defense up bonus for both brothers. After dismantling yet another pet, X runs away and drops a power tap, allowing me to now use 3 battle plugs per fight. It's then as simple as relighting the Great Lighthouse and heading off to the Burning Sea. With the new sea comes an impossible side quest. This time, it's Monster Mania, a quest where you have to battle the strongest monsters out there. Obviously impossible. But wait, there's more! For the price of 1 impossible side quest, you can get 5 extras! Monster Mania is actually a part of a set of side quests, and there are 6 of them total, all clearly impossible. Off to continue the main story, now off to Bulbfish Island. On arrival, the brothers get wrapped up in a mystery. Someone stole all the bulbfish eggs, which are essential for the economy. There's also some people who are getting really upset for apparently no reason, and acting really antisocially, which is rather odd for them. Since Mario and Luigi have consistently been ignoring any major problems, they skip helping these people and head straight for the lighthouse, right? The first lead Mario and Luigi are given is to go check out the underground area past the guard. The guard refuses to let them pass unless they answer a few questions though, which can be found by asking around the island. The first question is who is the prime suspect, which is the new couple who arrived shortly before the world split. Rather xenophobic if you ask me. The second question is just a generic question about the rules of the island. The final question is what's under the broken light, which is an empty notebook. After answering the guard's questions, he lets the bros through into the cellar. After getting into the very farthest depths of the cellar available, the bros find incriminating evidence on who the culprit is, the mayor's assistant. Instead of reporting back to the mayor with the evidence though, they decide to take a nap, and while they're sleeping, the foreign couple are falsely arrested for the crime. Mario and Luigi return back down to the cellar to confront the mayor's assistant. They steal a key off the guard to delve even further, and get to the deepest part of the cellar. Back there, they find X and 3 Zokket troopers? Turns out Zokket was the one behind the people acting antisocial. She is using a substance called gloam to cause people to hate each other. X runs off, so I have to just deal with the 3 Zokket troopers. This is the first time a standard fight is actually important enough to talk about. Unlike other enemies, Zokket troopers can actually hurt themselves. One of their attacks is where they will throw a ring straight at a bro, and it will bounce right back at them. This means that since I'm not the one killing them, I only get the fight credit and nothing is added to the kill counter. The mayor's assistant runs away, so Mario and Luigi chase him to the top of the island. After quickly confronting him, that island was finally handled. After that, it's time to head to Heat Freeze Island. The residents of Heat Freeze won't let the brothers move on until they try some food, so after a quick tour, they start climbing the mountain. Not too far into the climb, Mario and Luigi find some of Zokket's troops using more Gloam people, so gotta take them out. This time it's a fight against 2 Zock Ring troopers and 2 Zock Ring troopers. Just like the previous fight, it's possible to beat this encounter with no kills, but it's significantly more tricky. To do it, you have to make sure you attack the Zock Ring troopers until they have barely any health left. Then, once that happens, just keep wasting turns until eventually they use a team attack with a Zock Ring trooper. If you dodge this attack, this should kill the Zock Ring trooper, and the same strategy from the prior fight can be used for the Zock Ring trooper, letting only those 4 be added to the fight tally. Other than nearly getting crushed by a boulder Indiana Jones style, the rest of this island is free, so it's another quick return to Ship-Shape Island. This time, there's actually a choice between 2 islands, Slip and Glide or Scorching. On Scorching Island is Dr. Volko, a person who would be able to cure Gloam. But on Slip and Glide Island, there's our Zokket Research Center. Obviously, that's where we're going. But before we head out, Techniki gives Mario and Luigi another pair of Bros attacks, this time being Jump Helmet and Bomb Derby. This is actually super useful, since this finally gives Luigi a super good single target attack, and Mario a really good attack for hordes of enemies. Slip and Glide goes super smoothly until we get to the research lab, where Mario and Luigi run into 10. Apparently he cloned copies of those kids we blew up back at the second Great Lighthouse. For some reason. He runs off. Mario and Luigi learn the ball blitz, letting them roll at breakneck speeds. After catching up with 10, he decides it's better to go out on his own terms. Or not, never mind. There doesn't seem to be anything of use in the laboratory, so Mario and Luigi head up towards the lighthouse of this island, and bump into some familiar faces. This quickly ensues into a brawl, however. This fight has a rather annoying gimmick attached to it. If you don't kill all 6 enemies at the same time, they will summon reinforcements, which means I must first try both waves. The first wave is of 6 Goombas, and the strategy isn't very complicated. Just use jump attacks until every Goomba is super low on health, then use Mario's Bomb Derby with the Bros attack damage increase battle plug to make sure they all die. The second wave is surprisingly even easier. Their attacks are easier to avoid without hurting them, so just use the same exact solution and wipe them all out with Bomb Derby. It's not quite as easy as I made it out to be, as it took me several attempts, but it's doable. After that, the Bros level up to level 17. I can return to Ship-Shape Island, and then head immediately for Scorching Island. On Scorching Island, after climbing a bit of the mountain and blowing up an entrance to a cave, the brothers get ambushed by Bomb-On Platoon B. This is another fight where I don't actually have to kill the enemies, since they're, well, bombs. They blow up. That means if I just dodge their attacks, they just explode and die. Easy game for babies. Moving further through the cave, Mario and Luigi learn the UFO vacuum, which lets them carry stuff while flying. After exiting out of the cave, Mario and Luigi find a Bros trio, and after a nice chat, they carry on with their day. By fighting each other to the death! This is another fight that can be done with less kills. Focus on weakening all of the Bros until they're all super low on health. Then, when they use this one specific attack where they line up to throw projectiles at either Mario or Luigi, just avoid getting hit and they'll kill each other. Unfortunately, they only throw one projectile at a time, so one Bro will be left alive for Mario and Luigi to clean up. That still saves 2 kills from the tally, so that's a win in my book. After the fight, Mario and Luigi level up to level 18, so that's also nice. From here, it's just a short walk to relight the lighthouse and head back to Ship-Shape Island. After an unimportant wedding that totally has no significance later in the plot, it's time for another impossible side quest. Yay! I mentioned this a long while ago actually, but this is the Gloam Goblik side quest, where Mario and Luigi have to rematch Goblik, which obviously isn't possible for this run. After that though, it's time to head to the third Great Lighthouse. Unlike the last 2 times, the front door is just unlocked, so that means we're allowed to enter, right? No, that is still breaking and entering and is a crime, so Mario and Luigi get arrested very quickly. It doesn't take Mario and Luigi too long to break out and sneak past some guards, but while trying to get Connie, they get caught by 4 guards. so time for another fight. It's a fight against 2 Ring Zok troopers and 2 Zok Ring troopers. And just like before, they can be defeated without attacking them, saving 4 kills from the tally. After they take themselves out, Mario and Luigi level up again to level 19, and then use the elevator to go to the bottom floor. And at the furthest depths, they find Zokket and her pet Muck. Zokket sends Shun to deal with them. For Pipe Gunk, the battle plugs I used were Temperature Guard, Damage Guard, and Auto Mushroom, although I had to swap them frequently because the plugs would wear out in the middle of the fight. Pipe Gunk has a lot of different variations of the same attack depending on certain conditions, but I'll get to that in a bit. In its standard form, his first attack is to slide quickly at a bro, but that's easy to just hit with a hammer. Its only other attack in its base form is some bouncy orbs. Just jump before they land, and make sure to try and land on them to destroy them early. At the end, it'll become an orb itself, but just jump with both brothers at the same time to avoid it. After a bit of fighting, Shun will come down and change the arena to either an ice or fire arena, turning Pipe Gunk into either an ice or fire enemy, each form with their own attacks, and also allowing them to both heal constantly. Starting with the fire form, it has 3 brand new attacks. It can rush back and forth, shooting bursts of fire, but those are easy to jump over. It can also shoot a wave of fire into the sky, but it's just a new version of the Garumba Stone Rain from earlier in the game. The final attack is more unique though. 2 fireballs are shot, but they scorch the ground, so if I stop jumping constantly, it'll deal a massive 60 damage to Mario or Luigi. Now, for the ice form, it also has 3 unique attacks. It has an attack similar to the Fire Burst, but I find this one harder to dodge. If Pipe Gunk does the attack up close, the timing is weird and later than I'd expect it to be. The second attack is just a duplicate of the Fire Rain, which already is a duplicate of Grumbla's Stone Rain back from Rumbla Island. Its final attack is a slow charge forwards. The screen gets obscured by a snowstorm, which is supposed to make timing the hit much harder, but if you pay close attention to the brothers, you can just swing the hammer when they start to get covered by Pipe Gunk. The final thing to talk about is the Luigi logic, which for this fight is when Shun comes down to swap the arena. Right before he can do it, Luigi can fight for the remote, and if I win, I get to pick where Pipe Gunk ends up. Sending Pipe Gunk to the opposite element weakens them, dealing damage, incapacitating them for a turn, and also increasing the amount of damage I can do to them for this turn. And when attacking Pipe Gunk, go all in with Bomb Derby and Jump Helmet for the most damage. After beating the crap out of their pet Muck, it doesn't die for the same reason Goblik and Sharp Cask didn't die. But also, Mario and Luigi level up twice to level 20. After a shameful loss, Shun runs off and also drops a 4th power tap, letting the bros use 1 more battle plug at a time. It's a quick elevator ride to the top of the Great Lighthouse to relight it, and head straight back to Shipshape Island, sailing onto the Gulch Rock Sea. Very shortly after getting there, Mario and Luigi finally find Zokket's fortress. Bad news though, they entered a full-out war zone against Zokket's troops and Bowser's minions. Despite Bowser taking some massive blows from Zokket, the moment he sees Mario, he diverts a bunch of firepower to Shipshape Island. A single good cannonball shot and Mario and Luigi get blasted off the island. With the legendary duo drowning in the ocean, reconnecting and saving the world is no longer possible. Oh wait, they washed up on an island. Never mind. Turns out the island they washed up on isn't very friendly, however. Offendon Island has been taken over by Bowser's minions, so the bros need to sneak off the island. At the very end, they get caught, so it's time to fight 2 Koopa Troopas and 4 Goombas. Thankfully, the reinforcement gimmick is gone, and I can actually even lower the amount of kills I need here. All I need to do is kill 2 Koopas and 3 Goombas. When a Goomba is completely on its own, it'll run away, so that's an easy way to quickly lower the kill count by 1. After that, it's a quick walk to the lighthouse and the brothers return to Shipshape Island. Even more bad news though! Twisty and Heat Freeze Islands got disconnected in Bowser's attack, so now Mario and Luigi have to go repair the links again. Once again, there's a choice on which island to go to first, and this is the first time the choice actually has mattered in this run. If you go to Twisty Island first, like I did, because a certain someone told me to, then you'd actually have to kill more enemies. For some reason, there are 2 enemy ambushes at the start of this island that only happen if you go to this island first. So make sure to go to Heat Freeze Island first if you ever want to do this for some reason. Upon landing on Heat Freeze Island, a fight against 10 Spinies starts. This fight isn't very notable except for one thing. Occasionally a Lakitu will fly in, and throw some more Spinies as an attack, but as long as it's counted properly, they don't actually join the fight. I did end up messing it up a few times though. So... after that quick fight, Mario and Luigi level up to level 22 and rank up once more. The same rank up bonuses are available from last time, along with 2 new ones, Jumpman and Hammerhead, which increase the power of all jump and hammer attacks respectively. I decided to pick Power Up, since I think that'll benefit me more in the long term. Anyways, you're supposed to go to both villages and fight more enemies to save everyone, but I don't want to, so... after climbing up and entering the cave, the passage is blocked by a horde of Bowser's minions. But hey, look! Bomb on Platoon A came to help us! After quickly fighting, but not killing, those 8, they blow up a path to the way forwards. Mario and Luigi talk to some ancient deities, get elemental powers, and... oops, wait, that's Superstar Saga footage. Mario and Luigi talk to some ancient deities, get elemental powers, and climb up the rest of the mountain, and reconnect Heat Freeze Island. The only other option now is to attempt Twisty Island. Just quickly launch over there, skip the 2 ambushes that just don't happen anymore for some reason, and prepare to add a bunch of kills to our tally. To finish this island, the brothers head over to the Whack Shop and get ambushed by a horde of enemies, resulting in 5 kills, 3 from Gloam Sorbors and 2 from Gloam Bumbleshoots. The only good news from that is that Mario and Luigi level up to level 23. I had hoped that I could at least save 1 kill here, since Sorbors could run away, but I don't think Gloam Sorbors specifically can. After returning to the center of the island, Mario and Luigi get ambushed again, this time by 4 Gloam Sorbors and 2 big Gloam Sorbors. Thankfully, after those 11 rapid kills, all that's left for this island is dancing, climbing a beanstalk, and reconnecting the lighthouse, letting the bros finally start making progress again. First up, Impossible Side Quest time! This quest is the Fossil and the Bones. It requires fighting and killing some shark bones, so obviously not possible. Not that I'd want to fight them anyways. But hey, there's actually 2 this time! The second quest is Techniki's Past, and it is also impossible. This time, because some random idiot gets kidnapped by a bird and the bros have to save them. So that's not happening. Another thing that happens is more brand new bros attacks. These ones are Clockout Blow and Yoo-Hoo Cannon. Yoo-Hoo Cannon is another great crowd clearer, but Clockout Blow is a multi-use tool. It excels at dealing massive damage to a single target and to crowds. But if there's a crowd, it sucks at hitting a single target. Back to the main quest, Dr. Vulko is running out of ant berries, the main cure for gloam. The only place to get those is Wayaway Island, but apparently it's also the main hideout for Bowser. But that can be used to our advantage. Heading on over to Offendon Island, Mario and Luigi use some impeccable disguises, eavesdrop on some of Bowser's minions, and learn about the entrance to Wayaway Island. Now, you might think I could do what I did way back with Lotta Coins Island, where I just remembered what I had to do. Unlike Lotta Coins though, if you head to the entrance to Wayaway Island, it just won't let you in until you go to Offendon Island first. Anyways, Luigi blows their cover, and the brothers get thrown in jail for like the 3rd time in this game. Thankfully, this island is already connected to Shipshape Island, so I can just use the golden pipe to skip breaking out, right? Well, no. Acquire thought of that, and the golden pipe is not available during certain parts of the story. So that means that I have to do this part legitimately. At the very end of it, right before access to the gold pipe is restored, who would have guessed, another required fight. This one is against 4 Goombas, 2 Koopa Troopas, and 2 Paratroopas. Once again, I can save a singular Goomba by just having them run away. Also, yet another level up. This time to level 24. With access to Wayaway Island, it's time to set off. The entrance to Wayaway Island is a random button on a random island. Yay. After opening up the route, Mario and Luigi end up at the front of Bowser's castle. The real question is how the hell Bowser built this entire castle in 3 days. Not that it really matters, but it's just interesting to think about. Upon entering the castle, who would have guessed it? Enemy ambush! This time it's against 3 Goombas, 1 Koopa Troopa, and 2 Magic Koopas. We've already talked about Goombas and Koopas enough. Just let a Goomba run away and kill the others. The Magic Koopas, on the other hand, have one interesting thing to talk about. Their enemy cloning attack. The question here is whether they should count as kills if I hit them. No! They came from a block. They're not alive! And even if they were, it's not that difficult to just tank a bit of damage and avoid them, so I'm not adding them. The main elevator of the castle is currently broken, so Mario and Luigi have to go across the castle to turn off the lava moats and get a new plug to fix the elevator. It's pretty uneventful until the very end, where Mario and Luigi have to fight a single Koopa, but that's obviously easy. Now, normally, at this point you'd go to a prior area of the castle to grab a plug to fix the elevator. But doing this would force you to fight another 3 Koopas on the way back. Instead of that, you can just grab a plug on the first trip and bring it with you. After riding up the newly repaired elevator, it's showtime! This time, the battle plugs I used were once again defensive, with Damage Guard, Boomerang items, and Auto Mushroom, but also the Anti-Army Specialist, which increases damage to Bowser's troops, including Bowser himself. Due to the length of this fight, I had to constantly swap and figure out what plugs would work best at the moment though. Another problem with the length of this fight is Bowser's minions. Bowser will constantly summon new minions into the arena, but unlike the 10 fight from a while ago, he's not limited to just 2 at a time. Since the fight is not over super quickly though, that means that dodging the minions' attacks will slowly whittle down their health, putting them awfully close to dying. The only way to counter this is to either purposely fail dodging and take some damage, which means I have to spend a lot more turns healing, or when Bowser uses this one shell attack, if I counter it, Bowser gets flipped on his back, and on Bowser's turn, a bunch of minions will run into him to try and flip him over. The nice thing though, is that when they do this, they get knocked out of the battle and are no longer my problem. Out of the 4 types of minions Bowser can call in, 2 of them are much more favorable than the others. Koopas are super easy to dodge without accidentally hurting them, so they're the best option. The second best option is Goombas, since unless a large horde of only Goombas shows up, their stacking attack is dodgeable without hurting them. The worst option for minions is Shy Guys and Paratroopas though. If a Shy Guy attacks, that means that either the Shy Guy or Mario and Luigi have to get hurt. No exceptions. Paratroopers, on the other hand, have 1 dodgeable attack, and 1 that requires damaging them, so they're a gamble. The best way to actually hurt Bowser is to use Red Shell and Jump Helmet, since the other Bros attacks would hit the minions. Since Bowser does not have a Luigi logic to use against him, just go all out on him whenever the chance arises. Now, for his attacks, most are actually pretty simple. There's the Shell attack, which is easy, just hit him with a hammer. He can also charge up his Flame Breath, which can be jumped over with good timing. Or you can jump on some metal balls some Shy Guys throw out to make the timing easier. Bowser also has the move where he chains a bunch of short attacks together. It's not too bad to dodge if you know the tells. Jump shortly after his mouth shows smoke. If he jump so you don't get stunned. And if his eye flashes, wait a moment before jumping over his tail. Another of Bowser's attacks is calling in an army, and forcing them to charge the brothers. Surprisingly, jumping on the enemies doesn't actually kill them, just launches them into Bowser, dealing a bit of damage. The only exception is Bomb-Ombs, because they're bombs. After dodging the horde for a little while, Bowser will get mad and attempt to punch a bro, but it's an easy jump to avoid it. After dealing around 2/3 of his health, he gets really mad, but this doesn't seem to really do anything other than increase his defense. Just continue beating him up and avoiding his minions, and the fight is not that bad. After that, Mario and Luigi level up twice, getting to level 26. But during all the fighting, Zokket's troops snuck into the castle and are kidnapping Bowser Jr. So Mario and Luigi decided to do the right thing and stand there and watch it happen 10 feet in front of them. It's not like it's super quick either. Here's the entire cutscene at 4 times speed. With their share of the work done, the brothers head to Bowser's storeroom, steal a bunch of ant berries, and head back to Ship-Shape Island. Let's just get this over with. It's time for another 2 impossible side quests. There's Feeling of Dread, a quest where Mario and Luigi fight some boos to cure their curse, so obviously a no. And there's also Toad's Undercover, a quest where Mario and Luigi go save some toads from Bowser's minions, so also obviously a no. The only option, once again, is to continue on and head to the final Great Lighthouse. The front door is once again not locked, so Mario and Luigi, having not learned from their many prior crimes, barge on in and start riding the elevator up. The bros stumble on some gloam experiments on some of Bowser's minions, and now it's fight time! This one is against 2 gloam spikes, and I'll quickly use this fight to talk about the gloam status effect. If Mario and Luigi get hit by a gloamed enemy, they have a chance of getting gloamed themselves. If this happens, Mario and Luigi can no longer team up for attacks, which means 2 things. All attacks now do a little less damage, and bros attacks are no longer available. There are 3 ways to cure gloam. You can either just run away or survive the fight, which always cures gloam. The other options are item related. There's the Refreshing Herb, which has a 50% chance of curing gloam, but the Refreshing Herb is more useful to use for curing other stat effects, like Dizzy or Burn. The final cure is an Ant Berry, which is the best solution, having a 100% cure rate that doesn't require waiting for a long time and doesn't use other cure items. Usually I'd go into a strategy on how potentially I could get the enemies to beat the fight for me and not count for kills, but this is the only non-boss encounter in the main story where the enemies don't die after beating them up. They just get cured and walk off afterwards, so I don't even have to worry about this fight. Now, the fight after it on the other hand. This one is against 2 Spike Zock Troopers and 2 Ring Zock Troopers. If you recall from a while ago, Ring Zock Troopers could be beaten without killing them when paired up with Zock Ring Troopers. This is not the case with Spike Zock Troopers though, so that's another 4 kills. This fight does level up the bros to level 27 too. Nothing else eventful happens at this Great Lighthouse, so the bros light it and move on to the final area, Fortress Zokket. Surprisingly, all the gates and doors are unlocked, so it's just a matter of walking through a few hallways before getting to the top of the fortress. The top of Fortress Zokket is absolutely wrecked, but what could have caused this? Well, it turns out Zokket got a brand new pet turtle, but it hasn't been behaving too well. Zokket decides to offer Mario and Luigi a brand new job. All they have to do is train this turtle. The battle plugs I decided to use for this fight were similar to last time. I used Auto Mushroom, Anti-Army Specialist, which for some reason works even though this is Zokket's pet, not Bowser's. I also used a Damage Guard and Auto Ant Berry to cure Gloam if I ever caught it. This fight is a super long fight though, so I had to constantly be prepared to swap out my battle plugs in case they ran out of charge. The second thing to talk about is this fight's 2 gimmicks. The first one is simple. Occasionally 2 of Zokket's minions will join the fight. The second gimmick is that the turtle will slowly cause a pool of Gloam to grow, which has a few effects on the battle. First of all, this will infect Zokket's minions, making them deadlier. The second thing that this will do is if I take too long, the pool will eventually grow large enough to reach Mario and Luigi, and will deal a sizable amount of damage every turn. There is a way to counteract this, but I'll get to that in a little bit. Now, for actually attacking the turtle, there's only a few bros attacks you should use. For Mario, use Bomb Derby unless there are some minions, then use Red Shell or just wait. For Luigi, you should always be using Jump Helmet or Yoo-Hoo Cannon on the turtle. Weirdly enough, the turtle's attacks for the most part are just harder versions of Bowser's attacks, which seems like lazy game design to me. Its shell attack, instead of just being a singular charge forwards, is a spin around the bros, and the occasional hit from above. I do have a tendency to mess up the timing occasionally for the grounded attack, so kudos for that I guess. Another of its attacks is just a slightly changed Bowser attack. Jump the flame, wait for the tail swipe, and dodge the ground slam. The only difference is that the ground slam now sends out a few shockwaves after the impact. After a while, a Shy Guy airship will fly in and add into the barrage of attacks. Its own attack is easy to dodge though, and deals damage to the turtle, so it's actually super useful. This also gives a way to escape the ever-growing gloam. The airship causes the Luigi logic to become available, but just because it's available doesn't mean that it should be used. If the turtle isn't dazed from being attacked a bunch, the Luigi logic will be wasted and a few more turns will have to be spent waiting in the gloam. If the turtle is dazed though, Mario and Luigi can fly away to a new island. During the flight though, it's a free chance to deal a bunch of damage to the turtle though, so it's super important to use this to its fullest potential. Upon crash landing on a beach, the gloam pool is fully reset, but the turtle also gets a brand new attack. The first one is creating 2 pipes to obscure where each bro is, and spinning to make it hard to keep track. Then firing 2 fireballs which can be hit back. It's not really hard to keep track though, and even if you lose track, you can just swing at the same time and still dodge the attack. This is where I started having some close calls though. Partially because I was playing way too riskily and not using enough items, but also because this fight is pretty difficult on a normal playthrough, and this isn't a normal playthrough. Thankfully I kept living because of my constant battle plug swapping. Not dropping, which saves a bro from dying but leaves them at 1 health, saved my ass a bunch. I also had this weird glitch happen at one point. I think what happened was that Luigi dying to the gloam pool didn't cause Mario to register Luigi's death for some reason. So then after an attack, where the game checks if a bro got downed, it only then registered Luigi's death. But since Mario was already carrying Luigi, that messed with the animation. Anyways, after beating up the turtle a little while more, another chance to hijack a Shy Guy airship occurs, allowing for a lot of free damage and a desperately needed reset to the gloam pool. This time though, there are no more reinforcements or escape routes. All that's left is to tame this turtle. Unfortunately, it learned another new attack. This one much harder to dodge consistently. It starts with a sweeping flame, which is easy to dodge until the turtle starts switching its height midway through. I always struggle to react to this in time and get hit. I'm actually only just now realizing as I write this script what the tell for this attack is. If the turtle grunts, that means the height of the flame isn't going to change, which makes dodging this much easier. The second part of the attack is a joke. The turtle just flies at a bro, which is easy to jump over. A few of the old attacks also get buffed a bit, making them harder to dodge too. I had even more close calls in this part of the fight. At one point the gloam pool was at Mario and Luigi. Luigi just died from the previous attack, and Mario was left at 25 health, and I didn't even have the not dropping plug. Somehow Mario just barely survived at 1 health, so I revived Luigi and had the chance to heal up Mario. If all this isn't enough how much of a step up this fight is from everything else, I don't know what else to say. Despite all of this, I somehow beat the fight on my first try, and Mario and Luigi leveled up twice to level 29, and rank up too. Just like always, the old rank up bonuses are still an option, with 3 new ones available this time. The new ones are Counterer, which makes hitting an enemy during their attack do more damage to them, which would be more of a downside in this run since I'd more easily kill minions on accident. The second bonus is Big Lucky. It just makes lucky hits deal more damage, but since that relies on luck, that's not a great choice. The final option is Iron Body, which reduces all damage by 20%, which is perfect. For their wonderful service, Zokket decides to reward Mario and Luigi with a marvelous prize, a giant death beam! The brothers ran for the exit, but hit a dead end. Given no other choice, they decide to go out on their own terms. A rather sad and dark ending, but that's the fate of Mario and... God damn it, they just washed up on another beach again! But it's not just any island, it's the island Mario washed up on shortly after getting a mild case of dementia. Before they were rudely evicted from Zokket's home though, Luigi managed to snag a 5th and final power tap, finally allowing the bros to use battle plugs to their fullest potential. Now that Mario's back with Luigi though, they can learn the Bros Bomb, blow up some rocks, and fight God himself. This fight just acts as a simple test of if you've been paying attention and have been practicing on using all of the Bros attacks, so it's rather easy. Just save the Luigi or Mario that has the correct animations, then use 2 strong Bros attacks. Somehow though, I failed this and died on my first attempt. Since it's basically just a minigame however, I'll just skip this. Mario and Luigi level up to level 30, then use the lighthouse on this island to return to Ship-Shape Island, and enter the 5th sea, Storm Star, to follow after Zokket's floating fortress. Right as they start to approach though, a giant barrier forms around the entirety of the fortress, blocking any further progress. Now the only way to possibly get past this giant barrier is to make some invention to circumvent it. But only if we had some genius inventor on the island. Oh well, guess we have to go find one. There's only one drifting island left out in the ocean to check, so let's hope someone useful is there. Oh look! The self-acclaimed world's smartest scientist! Well, that was easy. After heading right back to Ship-Shape Island, the brothers prepare to start collecting parts. But oh, wait, we already had Techniki on Ship-Shape Island. I guess we don't need a Daphne anymore. Before going to the next step of the plan, time for another impossible side quest. This one is called Dueling Geniuses. To beat this one, you have to collect Zokket alloys, but the only way to get these parts is to kill some of Zokket's troops, so that's not happening. The next step of the plan is going to get some parts, but I can just ask my good old friend Bowser for some assistance. Hey buddy, how's it going? Are you feeling any better after getting beat up?
Mario! No!
Yeah, I hear ya, man. I'll make sure they don't mess with you. I'll just go in the back and grab the part. Hey, thanks so much, dude. I owe you one. See you later. After a quick walk through the back rooms, the airship engine is obtained, and it's a quick walk to give it back to Techniki. It doesn't take long until Ship-Shape Island can sail to the skies and fly right over the barrier, giving Mario and Luigi another shot at taking down Zokket. Looks like Zokket forgot to lock her door again, so Mario and Luigi just let themselves in. Just like the first visit, there are no impossible obstacles in the way, so the brothers can just waltz their way through the fortress until they eventually end up at the gate by the elevator. The Extension Corps shows up and lock the gate to the way forwards, and then drop Mario through a trapdoor. Wonder where he fell down to. Well, wherever he went, it doesn't really matter since the duo are able to pair back up not too long later. Since they're back together, it's time to head back and confront this heinous trio and show that the power of 2 is much sturdier. For this fight, my battle plug loadout was actually mostly offensive instead of defensive, since I think this fight is rather easy to avoid damage, and auto healing plugs actually are bad in this fight. I decided to go with attack boost, which lets me attack 1 extra time per attack. I also used 2 surprise iron ball plugs, which causes 1 giant iron ball to fall, and also pairs with the attack boost, causing 2 of them to fall instead of 1. Then, I combined this also with the Kaboom plug, which causes an explosion to hit after every attack. Because of the attack boost and iron ball plugs though, this causes a second explosion to happen, and 4 iron balls to hit all surrounding enemies. And then with the last slot, I just used Defense Guard, because why not? For attacking the Extension Corps, just using standard jump and hammer attacks actually do more damage because of all the battle plug combos I have going at once, hitting 3 enemies at once. But if the plugs run out of charge, just use Clackout, Blow, and Yoo-Hoo Cannon. Now for the Extension Corps themselves, each of them attacks separately with their own sets of attacks. Although let's start with 10 since he reuses some attacks from his old fight. His first attack is creating an orb to ride on and rushing at a bro. It's just as easy to counter as it was back at the start of the game, so it's just free damage. He also still has his mirror attack, so yet another easy to counter attack. 10's final attack is actually brand new, and is by far his hardest attack. He jumps between the two brothers and uses a barrage of attacks on them. He will attempt lunging at them, which is quick to come out but not hard to dodge with good rhythm. He'll also use a giant beam to attack, but that's even easier to hit back and hit him with. His final attack in the combo is always the finisher of the combo, a lightsaber twirl. Too bad it gives a stupidly large amount of time to prepare. Next in the trio is Shun, who got the short end of the stick and only got one attack, 2 if you count the variations separately. He'll pick up a weight and throw it. It's super easy to dodge, just jump when he lifts it up. The variation of this attack, you're not gonna believe this, is 2 weights. Oh my god. And it's dodged exactly the same way, so who cares? The final member of the trio is X, with his 2 attacks, also being pathetically easy to dodge. One of the attacks he just runs around before eventually attacking, so just hit him when he stops in front of a bro. The other one isn't much harder. He runs behind a bro, so just jump over him. The actually interesting part of this fight is that the Extension Corps get their own battle plugs to use against Mario and Luigi, although most of them backfire. Their first plug is a copy of one of ours, the Surprise Iron Ball. If I get hit, an iron ball will fall and hit Mario and Luigi. But what if I just hit it back? The second battle plug they use is the No Mushroom plug, which causes all mushrooms to hurt Mario and Luigi. Too bad I never had to heal in this fight, and even if I did, I could just use nuts or candies to heal instead. Their third plug is the one that doesn't backfire. It's the Dance Party plug. All it does is increase the amount of damage they do. The fourth plug they use is a Single-Minded plug, which combines their health. When they use this battle plug, they also gain 1 new attack, and it's actually a team attack. Shun will punch a punching bag, 10 will shoot bullets, and X will charge at the brothers. Unfortunately for them, if I just hurt one of them, either by jumping on X or hitting Shun's punching bag with a hammer, it hurts all of them and their attacks stop for a bit. After beating them up for a while, they pull out their wild card. They'll become for 3 turns, but then explode after that, taking out Mario and Luigi with them. If only there was an item in the game that made all attacks miss for a couple turns. So anyways, the bros level up to level 31. The Extension Corps somehow survive and run away, and it's finally time for the final showdown. After riding the elevator to the top of the fortress, Mario and Luigi are face to face with Zokket once more. For this fight, going with the defensive battle plug layout is super important, since Zokket can really quickly stack on a ton of damage and cause gloam status effects too. That's why for this fight, I was trying to use the Auto Mushroom, Auto 1-Up, Damage Shield, Auto Amp Berry, and Protectus battle plugs as much as possible, since the tide of the battle can shift rather quickly. For hurting Zokket, the best options are Clock Out Blow and Jump Helmet, since they're the attacks that do the most damage to a single target. Since I'm using more defensive plugs, it's more worthwhile to just use Bros attacks whenever possible. Zokket has 2 different forms that she can switch between, her standard form and her gloam form. The standard form is the one the fight starts in, so I'll talk about it first. This is the preferable form Zokket can be in, since the attacks are easier to dodge. The first attack she can use is Lightning Strikes. It's not hard to react to the timing, but she can flip the bros, which really messes with muscle memory when trying to dodge. The next attack is the Lightning Storm, which is also easy to dodge. Every Thunderball which will hit a bro will be a darker, duller color, and which bro it'll hit is pretty obvious because of its positioning. At the end of the attack, Zokket will launch a giant energy ball at one of the brothers, but once again, a simple hammer swing solves it. The final attack in her standard form is the Wire Cutter. It'll spin around the bros until hit, but after hitting it, Zokket will reflect it right back. The timing for hitting it back again can be tricky if you aren't prepared, but I could consistently reflect it back once I knew about it. Her Gloam form is the form that is much more dangerous for multiple reasons. The most obvious reason is that she can now inflict the Gloam effect, which can rapidly increase the amount of time the fight will take since I can't use Bro's attacks. The second problem with this form is that if one of the brothers is gloamed, she can take control of them, which is horrible, since that means I instantly lose half of my health, and if the remaining bro dies, it's an immediate game over with no way to save it. Now, curing and saving the infected bro isn't hard. I can either use an Ant Berry or the Auto Ant Berry plug, or I can just counter the gloamed brother's attack. It's just a few simple hammer swings. After they lose their hammer, instead of hitting them, just wait and they'll be cured. The final part of our form is the attacks, which are much harder to dodge than the standard forms. First off is an upgraded form of the Lightning Strike attack. All that changes is that Zokket will now summon a second strike to hit the other brother, but it's not that hard to adapt to. The second attack is the hardest one to dodge in my opinion. It's the Gloam Wire Cutters. Zokket will fly up into the sky and cause giant quick gloam waves to form in the ground. For some reason, I always struggle with the timing to jump over these, so I always end up getting hit and gloamed from this attack. Her final attack is more of a counter than anything. If you attack her at all during this form, she'll strike back with a really quick laser blast, which is tricky to dodge, so it might be more beneficial to just turtle and stay defensive in this phase. Surprisingly enough though, I didn't really struggle with this fight too much, so that's the final boss done. Mario and Luigi level up twice to level 33, and... oh, looks like Zokket had one last pet. The god of destruction and loneliness, Reclusa. Zokket's super awesome sick outfit was destroyed in the fray, but now she feels bad about her actions or something now, so she runs off with Mario and Luigi to Shipshape Island, as Reclusa builds up an impenetrable fortress and starts his scheming. Reclusa's evil plan is the worst thing known to man. Virtual reality. He creates a bunch of plans to trap people in them, so they can experience horrors beyond their comprehension. Like politics. The only way to stop this nightmare is to break into Reclusa's fortress and stop him. But unlike last time, flying over isn't an option. We need a way to break right through. And so the brothers set out on an epic quest to collect the power of bonds to break through Reclusa's loneliness barrier. But first, a quick word from our sponsor, Genshin. We have one final impossible side quest to cover, which is Kozet's Decision. Some of Zokket's troops ambush you when you try to do this one, so it's just not possible. But back to collecting the power of bonds, there's a lot of different stops the brothers need to go to get them all. First off is Heat Freeze Island, but it's as simple as walking through a single cave and then gathering the bond of marriage. While here, I get to collect the final bros attack for Luigi, Max Mix Vortex. It's another attack that's great for clearing out hordes of enemies, so we won't be using it too much. Secondly is Rumbla Island, where a rematch against Grumbla happens. He's gloamed this time though, so his attacks hit faster and harder. But he's still pathetically easy. One level up to level 34, and then the bros cure him, gather the bond of family, and move on to saving Peach and some kids. They're on some far-off islets, but it's a simple flight to get over to them. On the first islet, 2 Gloam Snaptors and 3 Gloam Drillbees attack the bros. Unfortunately, they have no way to hurt themselves, so nothing to talk about other than adding 5 kills to the tally. The brothers level up once again to level 35, and now it's time for the second islet. Once again, it's a fight against enemies that can't hurt themselves, this time being 2 Gloam Snaptors and 2 Gloam Crows, so once again adding to the kill tally. The brothers then gather the bond of friendship. The next bond is the bond of mentor and student, but that's just gained from dancing, so it's unimportant. Next up, on Offendon Island, Mario and Luigi have to save Bowser Jr. from some gloamed minions. It's, say it with me folks, more enemies that can't hurt each other! This is a fight against 2 Gloam Koopas and 2 Gloam Magic Koopas. After beating them up, Mario and Luigi collect the bond of... being a villain, I guess? It can't be friendship since they already have that. Well, it doesn't matter. Next up, heading to God himself for some heavenly advice or something. He instead gives Mario and Luigi an orbital strike, finishing off all of the bros attacks I can get. The final bond I can collect is the Extension Corps, which means I guess it's the bond of being co-workers, since friendship and villainy are already taken. With the power of bonds fully collected, it's time to head to the true, totally final dungeon of the game. We're truly on the horizon of the final event. Using the cannon one last time, the brothers launch off to the Soli-Tree for the final trial. Just like most of the Great Lighthouses and Fortress Zokket, navigating through the dungeon itself is easy and has no enemies in the way, so we can just skip to the end where it's a beautiful day in the Mushroom Kingdom. The sun's shining, birds are singing, and Princess Peach's castle is just up ahead. She says she has a cake prepared in the castle, so might as well go in and it's a beautiful day in the Mushroom Kingdom. The sun's shining, birds are singing, and Princess Peach's castle is just up ahead. Princess Peach prepared a short obstacle course to make sure Mario and Luigi are fit and ready for anything. It's pretty simple, and there's even a few question blocks along the way. After clearing the obstacle course, Mario and Luigi head into the castle for a delicious cake. It's a beautiful day in the Mushroom Kingdom. The sun's shining, birds are singing, and Princess Peach's castle is just up ahead. Peach prepared a special feast, and everyone in the kingdom is invited. How thoughtful! This isn't right. What's going on? Was that? There's no way. Mario and Luigi are stuck in a virtual world? Was everything fake? This entire time? Was anything I've ever done real? Is this video even real? Is this script I'm reading even real? Is anything real? Am I real? It's a beautiful day in the Mushroom Kingdom. The sun's shining, birds are singing, and I'm just messing with you. After quickly blowing up Reclusa and talking to the slightly tilted Peach, they break free from the virtual world and prepare to confront Reclusa. After a quick elevator ride, they reach the top of the Soli-Tree, but Reclusa came prepared with an entire army. To reach him, Mario and Luigi will have to get through the entire army. The first wave is against 4 Seedlusas. Fortunately, these enemies run away for the most part. Bad news though, one of them doesn't run away and becomes one of the strongest normal enemies in the game. It hits super hard and moves pretty quickly, basically being a smaller boss enemy. Thankfully, after surviving a few turns though, it'll self-destruct and wilt away, leaving this fight with no kills surprisingly. The second fight is against 4 more Seedlusas and also 1 Reclusive. The same strategy still applies, although the final Seedlusa won't transform until the Reclusive is killed, so that's 1 kill added to the tally. Bowser swoops in to take care of the rest of the army, so all that's left is the final battle. The first phase of the Reclusa battle is more of a gimmick than anything. Just ride left or right after Reclusa, make sure to dodge the Doom Blooms. If I bump into one, that's a reset since that starts a battle that can't be escaped. Also, make sure to shoot the fire and ice balls Reclusa shoots, then explode Reclusa after catching up with him. Then, he gets stunned for a turn, so it's the perfect time to use Jump Helmet and Bomb Derby to wipe out his health. Repeat this a few times and the first phase is out of the picture. This actually causes Mario and Luigi to level up for the last time in the entire run, getting to level 36 and also ranking up. The new rank up bonuses this time around are Casual Bros, which reduces the cost of Bros attacks, and Bros Pro, which doubles the damage of all Bros attacks. I decided to go with Bros Pro on both Mario and Luigi, since I have plenty of items to refill Bros points with. Reclusa retreats into the Soli-Tree and fuses with it, becoming Weeping Reclusa. But with the power of bonds, the bros are able to overcome the power of Gloam and push through. The next thing to do is to get up to the top of the Soli-Tree, but Snoutlet, our only ticket up, is eaten by a Doombloom. This causes a fight against 4 Doomblooms to occur. They only have 2 attacks, lunging at the brothers or shooting ice and fireballs, both of which are really predictable and easy to dodge. The hard part is dodging Weeping Reclusa, who will join in sometimes too. Particularly this one sweeping attack. I have no clue how to properly dodge this attack consistently. To win this encounter, instead of needing to kill all of the enemies, all I have to do is kill the Doombloom who currently has Snoutlet, which is pretty clearly telegraphed. After saving Snoutlet, a copy of the first phase happens, and after flying up for long enough, it's time to take down Reclusa for good. The first part of this fight, Reclusa creates the Weeping Corps as a barrier around himself to shield him from damage. The main gimmick of this phase is how he'll learn your attacks, and will take much less damage from those attacks for the remainder of the fight. For that reason, it's important to use attacks that aren't important for later phases. That's why Clockout Blow and Hammer Attack should be used up first, since they only hit grounded enemies, and Reclusa flies in later parts of the fight. For Battle Plugs, general defensive plugs are useful, along with sure-footed guards so Mario and Luigi don't trip. For the Weeping Corps' attacks, it only has 2, both of which are fairly easy to dodge. The first one is its ramming attack, which just requires good hammer timings, and at the very end, some button mashing to finish it out. The other one is just some rotating spikes, but when it stops and reverses its spin, it can trip you up, quite literally. After breaking down the Weeping Corps, which won't count towards the fight or kill tally since it's all part of Reclusa, Reclusa is left with no option but to fight head on. In this part of the fight, the best bros attacks to use are either Jump Helmet, Bomb Derby, or Conductor Connector, and going for a defensive plug loadout is even more important here. His attacks vary from one of the easiest to one of the hardest attacks in the game. For his easiest attack, he splits into a bunch of copies, but he telegraphs who he's going to shoot with big M's and L's. So... his second attack is one of the harder ones to dodge in the game. He will incapacitate one of the brothers, which means the other bro has to carry them for the attack. This makes jumps much slower and much harder to time, making the attacks he uses here actually hard to dodge. He can swap between 2 attacks here, fire and ice swings that aren't too hard to time, just jump when they start glowing. The other part of the attack is harder to dodge, which is 2 energy orbs. You just have to get a feel and know the timing for this one. After all that, he ends it off with a giant energy ball, but just don't swing early and it'll be fine. And that is actually all of his attacks. Rather disappointing. Once he gets to half health, he gets furious, which makes his combo attack harder to avoid, adding more energy balls into the fray. More importantly, he gets one final new move. He rapidly shows who he'll attack, and causes energy blast when he throws his hands down. As long as you can remember the order and jump a little before he slams his hand down, it's easy to dodge. He'll end the attack with 1 large orb, but just jump after it hits the ground and delay the jump for the farthest away brother. After a while of fighting, Reclusa collapses on the ground, but not ready to go out, he smashes open the floor and they all begin falling. Mario and Luigi cave into his skull, and Reclusa is finally dead, finally ending off the last of Zokket's pets. Mario and Luigi can head back to Shipshape Island, sail to the center of the world, and as the world finally reforms, the power creates a portal for Mario and Luigi to finally head back home. Despite all of Mario and Luigi's wrongdoings, they finally got the one thing they wanted, a way to go back and relax in the Mushroom Kingdom. But, as always, it's Judgment Day, and so it's time to count up every enemy that they fought and killed. Mario, on his own, fought and killed 2 enemies, which were 2 Seedles back on the first island. Luigi, on his own, fought and killed no enemies, so good for him, I guess. Mario and Luigi as a duo, however, fought a total of 150 enemies, which were 11 guard arms, 3 Seedles, Garumbla, Goblik, 10, 10 again, 7 Snaptors, 5 Spike Zoc Troopers, Mega Snaptor, Sharp Cask, 7 Zokrang Troopers, 6 Ring Zoc Troopers, 17 Goombas, 7 Paratroopas, 7 Koopa Troopas, 14 Bob-Ombs, 1 Hammer Bro, 1 Ice Bro, 1 Fire Bro, Pipe Gunk, 10 Spinies, 7 Gloam Sorbors, 2 Gloam Bumbleshoots, 2 Big Gloam Sorbors, 2 Magic Koopas, Bowser, 2 Gloam Spikes, Gloam Bowser, the Great Conductor, the Extension Corps, Zokket, Gloam Garumbla, 4 Gloam Snaptors, 3 Gloam Drillbees, 2 Gloam Crows, 2 Gloam Koopa Troopas, 2 Gloam Magic Koopas, 8 Seedlusas, 1 Reclusa, 4 Doomblooms, and Reclusa again. Out of all those enemies, they killed 93 of them, which were 11 guard arms, 3 Seedles, 3 Snaptors, 5 Spike Zoc Troopers, Mega Snaptor, 2 Ring Zoc Troopers, 14 Goombas, 7 Paratroopas, 7 Koopa Troopas, 1 Hammer Bro, 10 Spinies, 7 Gloam Sorbors, 2 Gloam Bumbleshoots, 2 Big Gloam Sorbors, 2 Magic Koopas, 4 Gloam Snaptors, 3 Gloam Drillbees, 2 Gloam Crows, 2 Gloam Koopa Troopas, 2 Gloam Magic Koopas, 1 Reclusif, 1 Doombloom, and the one and lonely himself, Reclusa. That means in total, they fought 152 enemies and killed a grand total of 95. Compared to their other adventures, this one is significantly above the average. Out of all the games, this one had the second most fighting kills, only below Paper Jam. For reference, in Superstar Saga there were 39 fights and 13 kills. In Partners in Time there were 37 fights and 22 kills. In Bowser's Inside Story there were 56 fights and 39 kills. For Dream Team, there were 96 fights and 69 kills. And finally for Paper Jam, an extreme outlier, it had 191 fights and 170 kills. That means for the entire series, there were 572 fights required and 407 kills required. Also, on average, each game required 95 fights and 68 kills. Whenever the next game releases, it'll be fun to see how these numbers compare. But that'll be it for me today. If you enjoyed it, I'd appreciate it if you liked and subscribed. And I'll see you again whenever I make the next video.